I remember the guys that were running the gym asked me, Robby, what you taking? And I said, what are you talking about? I had that mindset that's something that all the other guys were using, something because I'm looking at that physique being transformed to a whole nother level. He cracked the top of the lid off the bottle. And I was like, man.
Now, sticking to the supplementation, you came to LA fully natural. Your only supplement was real foods. And I know that famous story of you going to Gold's one day, and I don't know who it was that told you, wait, there's no way Robby is natural. And then they said, Robby, you need to take this. This is the story about Primobolan Depot. How was that first experience for you with that supplement?
The whole time we were training for that 90 days, all of us training for the Mr. Olympia, the 6 Mr. Olympia. I was training for the Mr. World in New York. And in that process, I was handling the same weight. What really hit me hard, I was handling the same weight they were handling without steroids. And it amazed me. I was thinking like, wow, I knew they were doing something, but nobody would tell me. Nobody told me anything about steroids. I didn't even know. You know, it might sound sad and I might sound a little bit dumb, but I had no clue. That's where I learned that mind. You can do anything you want if you make up your mind. If you're in the right field of energy with the right group of people, they were the right group of people.
Yes.
And so I used that energy from all the people that were there, and the mindset of that, you know, I can do whatever they can do.
Yes.
And then right at the very end of it, I'm thinking we got like 2 weeks out.
Uh-huh.
I remember the guys that were running the gym asked me, Robby, what you taking? And I said, what are you talking about? Because I say young, dumb, didn't have the knowledge, didn't think anything was going on behind my back, but it was. And they said, well, come back this afternoon. They didn't say what to come back to. They just said, come back this afternoon. I had that mindset that's something that all the other guys were using, something because I'm looking at that physique being transformed to a whole nother level in that 90 days. Said, Robby, come back this afternoon. I came back probably about 3 or 4 o'clock. He said, you ever seen this? I said, what is that? Dumb and young. He said, well, this is Anabolic steroid, Primobolan Depot. And I thought, okay. And he showed it to me. He cracked the top of the lid off the bottle, took out that 1 cc. And I said, well, what do you do with it? And he said, you have to shoot it in your hip. And he said, turn around. So we went into the bathroom. I turned around. He hit me with it. And I was like, man. By the time I walked up to my house, 2nd floor, knocked on the door, I collapsed.
Oh, wow.
But what I didn't know was the fact that I had sickle cell anemia. And that the steroids thickens the blood. So that all the blood corpuscles gotten thicker and they weren't able to get the oxygen to my brain and to my heart.
Wow.
And I collapsed right there. You know, thank God that Elaine, who was my lady at that point, was able to drag me in the house.
Oh, she was home.
She was home.
Wow.
Drug me in the house, was able to pull me up, sit me against the tub, and tumble me over into the bathtub and turn on cold water. Icy cold water, and shocked me.
Wow.
I was shaking and everything, and she was crying and worried, and Robby, what's wrong? And then she was holding me in her arms and rubbing me and talking to me and saying, Robby, what's wrong? And I told her, you know, I don't know. I was incoherent. I didn't know what to say to her because I didn't want to get her all worried about it. And then I calmed down. I guess the cold water was a shock to my whole nervous system, my whole body system.
Yes.
And in that process, I was revived.
It almost like reset you back to before.
Revived me, but I think I didn't eat anything or anything like that for maybe some hours, and then I kind of come back out of it, the whole thing. I'm 2 weeks out from the Mr. World now.
Yeah.
That one shot, I won the Mr. World competition, all the body parts, the most muscular man in the most muscular man out of a crisis, right?
Yeah.
And it was just amazing, that one shot.
Wow.
Transformed my whole being, my whole mindset, my body.
Yeah.
And I thought, that is some powerful stuff. So I started reading about the anabolic because I didn't know anything about it.
Mm-hmm.
And then winning like that really brought the whole IFBB, the magazines to a whole nother level. They want me to do more covers, more articles about training. I was getting more and more work now. So I'm getting like 1,500 to do an exhibition or seminar pretty much all over the world at this point. So I was able to stabilize myself and make a good living out of it.
Yeah.
Start to save my little money, got me an apartment, got me a car. Of course, I could drive, but Elaine could. She drove the car.
Mm-hmm.
And I was able to sustain myself and take my whole body to a whole nother level. It was an incredible experience. I would say if a person is going to use anabolic steroid, get your blood work done.
Yeah.
Get that done first so you know that if you have any kind of health issues that you can be guarded or the doctor could bring it to your attention. But right after winning the Mr. World and all of this, Mr. Weeder advised me and had me come to his doctor.
Was this Dr. Walczak?
Dr. Michael Walczak was the person that did the blood work on me and said, Robby, you have
Sickle cell anemia. Yep.
And you won't be able to do it like that often.
Yeah.
The doses have to be kept very low if you're going to use it.
So it was almost like
for 8 weeks.
It was almost like a blessing in disguise because you discovered there's this underlying condition that you had.
Exactly.
And
without
thanks
the
to
blood
that,
work,
now you know have to be really careful.
Yep. I will tell all the young guys out there, you can use all those anabolic substances, but you better definitely get your blood work done.
Yeah.
Because you don't know what kind of ongoing health issues you might have before you start the cycles. And I mean, definitely what I found out over the years, less is better.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, get in shape.
Yes.
Really get in shape, lean, muscular shape. You can't be fat or overweight trying to do anabolic because it's going to destroy the whole system, the whole network of how the body works. So I totally believe in you getting in shape, get that body fat down. 10%, okay.
Yeah.
But you like 15, 20%, nah.
Yeah, there's no point.
No, it don't make sense.
You see, today's world, we live in a world of social media, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok. You got to look great all year round. Like, you got to be in shape all year round to look good on these social media platforms. But if you are doing all this stuff, taking all these anabolics year round, you're doing a huge damage on your body. Now, you are a perfect example of longevity, and you've been bodybuilding for so many decades, right?
Piece of history.
Right? And on top of it, you've only used it in a certain period of time, and then back to whole foods and training, sleep, nutrition, lots of water, but only for that window when you got a peak for the contest, and that's it. It wasn't like year round. Would you say that those low doses and only for that specific period of time kept your longevity up?
The body works better without stress.
Yes.
When you do take the anabolics, it definitely adds a certain amount of stress to your whole being.
Yeah.
So I always practice low doses, 8 weeks.
Yeah, that's it.
I'm going to get my body fat down to 10%, 9%. Now from that point on, if I'm going to work it down 6%, 6%, that's enough. I mean, the rest of it is just hard work, a little aerobics.
Yes.
I mean, definitely supplementation, your meals, everything is on a time clock. And that's what I found. It works better with that kind of substances, anabolic substance. Everything on a time clock, the body just build muscle.
Yes.
And eating whole foods has been my key for 50, 60 years almost.
So back in mid-70s, you went to a doctor and you got your blood checked, and that's how you discovered what's happening inside. I'm also a personal trainer here in LA, and I tell all my clients, look, do your blood panel so I know what's inside, how I can help you. If I don't have a picture of what's happening inside you, how am I going to really help you?
Exactly.
I don't know what's going on. Let's check, see what's happening, and then we're going to address how we're going to proceed. And you were doing this since the 70s, and you've been doing the blood work ever since then.
Ever since.
And your blood panel, I'm assuming it's looking pretty good at 78.
Exactly. I mean, one of the biggest things I think that I've discovered out of all of this was Dr.
Rand. Yes.
Dr. Rand was one person that totally educated me about all of the nutrients and everything, and the intravenous feeding of all the vitamins.
Yes.
All the amino acids, all the glutamines and creatines and all that stuff being intravenous fed into the body to help build and keep the structure of the muscle cell and the body's strength up.
Yes.
So if it wasn't for Dr. Rand, I probably would have had a lot more which is sickle cell crisis, because he helped keep my body in a point of just peak. I was always peaking.
Yes.
And people could say, well, Robby taking steroid. No. Yeah. 8 weeks, but the rest of it came from intravenous feedings, nutrients, 5-6 meals a day, supplements on the clock with every meal. I mean, keeping my water. The best steroid you can drink when you're trying to really build a body is water.
Yeah, I love when you say the best steroid in the world is water.
Water. Because without the water, it's not possible to build muscle. You're not going to have the muscle size. You need to be able to have that body, be able to manipulate that body, especially that peak week. You know, you're not going to be able to just go in there and just win the show just because you're the most muscular person in the world. But you want to have all that water that's in the skin, under the skin, into the muscle cell.
Absolutely.
So on stage, under the lights, you're going to look harder and more dense. Posing shapes the body. If you're not posing, you're not going to look right up there.
Of course.
That's why a lot of guys up there, they're shaking.
Yeah.
Because they haven't really worked and practiced those poses. The more you practice those 7 mandatory poses, the more beautiful art piece you're going to be able to display on stage under the lights.
So if we're going to endorse one anabolic steroid for everybody out there, regardless of their age, it's water.
Water.
So it's take your water.
If you don't get that water right, I have this system where I tell a client, you drink water 30 minutes before your meal, 45 to 30 minutes after your meal. And what that does is just frees up the emptying of the colon, digestive tract. Everything is flushed out. It's better to drink the water a little warm. In the gym, maybe you need it a little bit cool.
Yeah.
Help the body flush itself and keep the temperature down in your overall body. But the first thing I drink in the water is 16 ounces of lemon juice and water.
Oh, so a little bit of lemon.
Exactly.
And Robby, whatever you're doing, it's working, man. It's working. Look at you.
I
love it.
Yeah, I have this system, what I call our 6-step program.
Yes.
And in that program, water is the key. I tell everybody, I mean, if you want that
Is water step 1? Is water step 1? Is it like the most important?
Water is the first one.
Wow.
Yeah, that's the steroid. That's what get the body going and manipulate, flush everything out of the body. It keeps the digestive system clean and fresh. I mean, it definitely flush and keep the skin, everybody in your body, overall internal organs hydrated. They slip and slide off of each thing better.
Yeah.
The body opens up better with that water and allowing that water to flush everything out. So when it's flushing everything out, the body gets leaner, harder, more muscular.